Hey folks, this is Zach, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that might make some people uncomfortable. Not for political reasons this time, but for more visceral human reasons. The topic is bugs. So, I got a degree in forest management, and like a lot of forestry majors, I ended up taking a class called entomology, which is all about studying insects and other arthropods, like bugs, you know? And at one point in the class, we were given the opportunity to eat some of them. Fried crickets and fried mealworms, which I did, of course. And I'll say right now, the mealworms tasted like butter popcorn and the crickets tasted like nacho chips. And they sell these on the streets in some countries. Apparently in Mexico, they'll have big walks set up on the street, and they'll fry these up and sell them instead of popcorn or whatever else you'd buy as street food. And they're healthy. They got fat, they got protein, they got fiber. There's nothing unhealthy in them. If you close your eyes, they taste like really good food. But you might say, ew, bugs. Don't. Most countries in the world eat some kind of bugs as part of their culture or part of their cuisine. When I was in Thailand, they did it as like a tourist attraction. They'd have a big table set up in the middle of the market, and around us there's people selling bracelets, there's people selling fruit. On this table, big like bins of different kinds of bugs, mostly different kinds of mealworms and crickets, and you could pay I think it was 20 baht, which is like less than $1, or 30 baht to take a little tiny baggie of these bugs and eat them. You could pay 10 baht to just take a picture of them or take a selfie with them. But then next to this, for $10 you could buy a fried scorpion and eat that. And I have a funny story about that, because one of the groups I was with did buy a scorpion, but they used it for like a project. And a few days later, they were like, we could try to eat this, you know? It was sold as food. So we all took a bite, and it was the nastiest, well, it wasn't the nastiest thing I've ever eaten. It didn't taste good because it was too old, like any other meat product. But anyway, yeah, people eat bugs in lots of countries because they're healthy, and let's say you're a farmer and your field gets devoured by a swarm of locusts or grasshoppers, crickets, you know. You could catch the locusts and eat them. They are much healthier than anything you'd be growing in the field. And speaking of growing stuff in fields, there's something called feed conversion ratio, which is how many pounds or kilograms of food you have to give to an animal to produce 1 pound of meat. And let me tell you, it's not a happy topic. A lot of people actually, and I would never do this, I love eating meat. Nothing's better than a good steak. But a lot of people become vegetarian or vegan because raising animals as meat is very, it's using the environment pretty hard, let's say. The amount of land, food, water, space, oxygen that all these animals take up, cows especially, is enormous compared to the amount of meat they make for us. So sheep are the worst, like mutton, or Vila's baby cow. I forget the name for a baby sheep, the meat of it. But anyway, those take like 30 pounds of food for 1 pound of meat. Cows, I believe it's like 15 to 20 pounds of feed that they have to eat to produce 1 pound of meat. Pigs are like somewhere from 5 to 10 pounds for 1 pound of meat. Chickens aren't too bad, they're like 1 or 2. Fish are really good, they're really efficient, I mean, if you are like environmentally conscious and environmentally conscious and you don't want to make a big impact. And bugs are even better. They eat stuff that we normally would not use at all, but they produce very high quality fat and protein. Aside from just the small amount of food they eat, they take up barely any space. Like imagine a thing of mealworms or crickets. You could raise those in a box and feed them probably almost anything. And people have backyard chickens that produce eggs, and if you've ever been in other countries, chickens just roam everywhere. They're picking around through trash heaps, they're probably eating a bunch of bad stuff, but they turn that bad stuff and the random bits of feed you give them into high quality protein and fat, which is what we need. Now, before you say like I'm on the side of the global elite, I want people to eat bugs, screw them. A little handful of people should not be running the world and making economic decisions for everyone. But if bugs were like readily available the same way that other meat products are, rather than being high priced in like a a way to show off to your vegan friends, I would absolutely be buying fried mealworms or fried grubs, fried crickets, rather than meat. Because first of all, it's healthier. It's a lot healthier, better fiber, better protein, better fat. It tastes really good, and you can eat it as a snack, and it's way easier to cook. Aside from that, no one's putting artificial hormones and stuff inside bugs. And a lot of them have antiviral properties in them because they live sort of on the ground, like in the ground, you know. They are exposed to lots of stuff, and just by default, they have things inside them that help them resist getting infected by stuff. Ants, specifically, I've heard, have antiviral properties. People in lots of countries eat ants and termites. I've been told, I've never had termites. I passed up a chance to do it once. But I've been told that they taste sort of like peanuts, like if you've ever been to a Thai restaurant and they have that peanut sauce, it sort of tastes like that, I've been told. And people grab loads of them and just pop them in their mouth as a snack. In Africa and in Southeast Asia, if you're on a safari in Africa, I've heard they will take you by a termite mound and invite you to eat some of them, which is pretty cool. But I have eaten ants. It's a funny story actually, because I was in Bali during COVID, and in my room there was just a line of little black ants going across the bottom of the wall. And I didn't want them to get to my food, so I crushed one of them. And immediately the smell came up from the ant, exactly like watermelon Jolly Ranchers. Exactly, like whatever chemical they use to make those things taste like watermelon, that chemical is the same one that's inside these ants. So I was like, you only live once, I might as well try it. There's no one watching. I popped it in my mouth, little crunch. It tastes exactly like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. So I ate a few of them. I'm like, wow, I see why people actually eat these. Like, if you put them on a salad, you literally have like a little crunch, like a sesame seed, but it tastes exactly like a Jolly Rancher. That's crazy. These things taste like candy. And I looked into it. You can eat them. They're very edible. You shouldn't have too many because they have acids in them, which is probably why it tasted and smelled like that. But that's cool. And on that note of candy, I was just in an ice cream shop the other day. It had lots of old candy in it. And aside from all the weird candy they had some lollipops that had either mealworms, crickets, or scorpions inside them. And that's old news. When I was a kid, my mom brought back a scorpion lollipop from the Grand Canyon, and I don't think I ever actually ate it. Like, it's a scorpion that had the stinger taken out. It's inside a big rectangular lollipop, like this shape. And you lick the lollipop, and if you're brave, you eat the scorpion at the end, which has been like preserved and fried and whatever. But yeah, I think it's weird that I completely understand it. I am terrified of cockroaches. I stay away from them as much as I can. I used to be afraid of spiders too. I didn't even like love bugs and mosquitoes and stuff when I was a kid. But I think it's weird that in our culture, we raise our kids to be afraid of bugs and like think of them as dirty, sort of unhealthy animals, like for eating and stuff. Because if you've ever been on a farm, you know that all those big farm animals are, unless they're really free-range animals, they're walking around in their own poop. If you have a bunch of chickens in a small space, they're pecking each other's feathers out. They're doing nasty stuff. Bugs are just as clean as them, if not cleaner. I'm hoping that in the future, I see it happening already. People are going to get more and more open to that. At least you'll start seeing them as like street food at some of the weird like food truck restaurants. You could buy like instead of a thing of boiled peanuts, it will be like fried mealworms, which I'm telling you taste like butter popcorn. They taste amazing. I'm hoping we see that in the future in America. I think it might take a while here. I'm sure in countries like Europe that have more immigration from certain other countries, the cultural change faster, but hopefully in the future people get more open to eating other sources of protein that if you close your eyes and get used to it, just the first time, close your eyes and eat it. After that, you'll never have a worry about it because they taste great. All right, folks, I hope you're suitably disgusted or intrigued. Hopefully some people actually try it if you ever travel. I mean, you only live once. Other people are doing it. They haven't died from it. Try it. It's worth it. Anyway, folks, peace out. I'll see you all next time.